Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I am your host, Pearl, and this is the Audacity Network. If you want to support my work, please go to theaudacitynetwork.com. You can submit super chats there. You can also see our after show where we all hang out and watch Love is Blind together, and I react and give my take on the intersexual dynamics that go on in Love is Blind. Hypergamy is still real even on these shows, and I can point it out to you. It's really interesting. Next, guys, we are on Spotify. The link to that is in the description. Please, we are trying to get monetized on Spotify, and we do put every episode up, so make sure you go to Spotify and sign up. And next is the Audacity Network. Yeah, you can super chat on the website. So anyways, guys, today we have a bunch of stories. As you know, I love covering the craziness, the debauchery in the world. Oh my goodness. Why do these articles always do this? Dang it, this is annoying me. Maybe it's on the other one. I think Chrome, maybe. Sorry, guys, 1 second. So this week there was I just logged in here. Why did it log me out? Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. It says I'm logged in. I have to buy this. Oh my. The New York Times is making me pay to read their articles. Oh my goodness. Let me go into 1 second, guys. The things I do. All right. Fine. Okay. Thank you. We're in. All right. Now, can I refresh this? Will it work? All right. Thank you. Guys, I just bought an article, so send a super chat. Okay. The U.S. study on puberty blockers goes unpublished because of politics, doctor says. The leader of the long-running study said that the drugs did not improve mental health in children with gender distress and that the finding may be weaponized by opponents of the care. An influential doctor and an advocate of adolescent gender treatments said she had not published a long-awaited study of puberty-blocking drugs because the American charged political environment. So what is this? Remember, this goes back to a more gynocentric and female tendency point of view, which our tendency is if there's information we don't like and it makes us feel icky to just make it go away. So if we get older and uglier, the older we get, it makes us feel icky, so just hide that. And now, when there are drugs that are affecting children negatively, we just want to hide the science. We don't want to see it. The doctor, Johanna Olson Kennedy, began the study in 2015 as part of a broader multi-million-dollar federal project on transgender use. She and colleagues recruited 95 children from across the country and gave them puberty blockers, which starve off the permanent physical changes like breasts or deepening voice that could exacerbate their gender differences known as dysphoria. The researchers followed the children for 2 years to see if the treatments improved their mental health. An older Dutch study had found that puberty blockers improved their well-being, results that inspired clinics around the world to regularly prescribe the medications as part of what is now called gender-affirming care. But the American trial did not find a similar trend. Dr. Olson Kennedy said in a wide-ranging interview, puberty blockers did not lead to mental health improvements. She said most likely because the children were doing well when the study began. They're in really good shape when they came in, and they're in really good shape after 2 years, said Dr. Olson Kennedy, who runs the country's largest youth gender clinic at the Children's Hospital of LA. The conclusion seemed to contradict an earlier description of the group in which Olson Kennedy and her colleagues noted that 1/4 of adolescents were depressed and suicidal before the treatment. In the 9 years since the study was funded by the National Institutes of Health And as medical care for this group of adolescents became a searing issue in American politics, Dr. Olson Kennedy's team had not published the data. So now they're literally telling us, we care about the truth, but not when it goes against my ideology. When asked why, she said the findings of this might fuel some kind of political attacks that have led to the bans of youth gender treatments in more than 20 states, one of which will soon be considered by the Supreme Court. So guys, this is why I think studies are important. And I'm not somebody that discredits science. I do believe in science, but the first way I am going to come to conclusions and what I believe is what I see with my own eyes. Because I'll be damned if people that I don't know, studies funded by whoever, are going to tell me what I'm supposed to think. And it's because of reasons like this. So many times I will see a study that comes out and we all know it's horseshit. We all know, I mean, how many vegan studies have you seen that indicate that vegans are healthier? Funded by some people telling you meat's going to kill you. But then I meet vegans in real life and they always look sick. Am I supposed to believe my eyes or am I supposed to believe some study? It's the same thing here. I do not want our work to be weaponized, she said. It has to be extremely on point, clear, and concise, and that takes time. She said that she intends to publish the data, but the team has also been delayed because the NIH had cut some of the project's funding. She attributed that cut to politics, which the NIH denied. Dr. Olson Kennedy is one of the country's most vocal advocates of adolescent gender treatments and has served as an expert witness in many legal challenges to the state's bans. She said she was concerned by the study's result to be used in court to argue we shouldn't use blockers because it doesn't impact them, referring to transgender adolescents. Other researchers, however, were alarmed by the idea of delaying results that would have an immediate implications for family around the world. I understand the fear about it being weaponized, but it's important to get the science out there, said Amy Tishelman, a clinical and research psychologist at Boston College, who was one of the study's original researchers. Dr. Tishelman also noted that even if drugs did not lead to psychological improvements, they may have prevented some of the children from getting worse. No change is necessarily a negative finding. There could be a preventative aspect to it, she said. We just don't know without more investigation. Okay, so I have actually had the experience of interviewing people on the other side of transitioning. So what they don't tell you is some of these surgeries and procedures makes their lives miserable for the rest of their lives. I interviewed one young man who had gotten surgery, bottom surgery, and he cannot pee normal for the rest of his life. He has to use some contraption. And he was explaining it to me at the time, and my stomach was turning because I just couldn't imagine having that be the rest of my life, right? And this is the challenge these days, is that we want to preserve, we care more about how facts make us feel than what is actually going on. But, you know, this is the problem these days. It's no wonder you see testosterone levels of men declining 1% a year. The average testosterone levels are half of what they were 50 years ago. And this is one of the foundational physiological reasons why society's crumbling and in the state that it's in. These women are getting away with murder and there's a simp epidemic. Testosterone levels are low and something needs to be done about it. Chalk is on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity. You're more capable of making decisions, taking risks. Having high testosterone also affects your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Chalk provides the highest quality herbal supplements clinically studied to boost your testosterone. Their tungcat is wild harvested from the Malaysian rainforest and is studied in double-blind human trials to boost free testosterone levels 87% in 21 days. Use my name, Pearl, and you'll get a coupon code 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Coupon code Pearl. Boost your testosterone naturally, supercharge your masculinity, and don't be a simp. Okay. Anyways. So, back to the story. In 2011, researchers reported on the first 70 children who were treated with the so-called Dutch protocol. The children were thoroughly assessed to make sure they had persistent dysphoria and supportive parents, and that they did not have a serious psychiatric conditions that might interfere with their treatment. These patients showed some physiological improvements after puberty blockers, fewer depressive symptoms, as well as significant declines in behavioral and emotional problems. All the patients tend to continue their gender transitions by taking testosterone or estrogen. These findings were highly influential even before they were published in clinics around the world open to treat transgender adolescents with puberty blockers and hormones. England's Gender Youth Clinic in 2011 tried to replicate the Dutch study with a study of 44 children, but at a conference 5 years later, the British researchers reported that puberty blockers had not changed the volunteers' well-being, including rates of self-harm. These results were not made public until 2020, years after puberty blockers had become the standard treatment for children with gender dysphoria in England. In 2020, Dr. Kennedy Olson's group described the initial physiological profile of the children enrolled in the U.S. study of puberty blockers. The average age was 11. Before receiving the drugs, about 1/4 of the group reported depressive symptoms and significant anxiety, and 1/4 reported ever having thoughts of suicide. 8% reported a past suicide attempt. In a progress report submitted to the NIH at the time, Dr. Olson Kennedy outlined her hypothesis of how the children would fare after 2 years of puberty blockers, that they would show decreased symptoms of anxiety, trauma symptoms, self-injury, and suicidal thoughts, increased body esteem, and quality of life over time. The hypothesis does not seem to have borne out. They have good mental health on average, Dr. Olson Kennedy said in the interview at the New York Times. They're not in any concerning ranges either at the beginning or after 2 years. She reiterated this idea 7 times. When asked in a follow-up email to clarify how children could have a good initial mental health with her when her preliminary findings had showed 1/4 of them were struggling, Dr. Olson Kennedy said that in the interview she was referring to data averages and that she was analyzing the full data set. Dr. Hilary Cass, a pediatrician who this year published an extensive review of youth gender study services in England, said that the delays from the American and British research groups had led the public to believe that puberty blockers improved mental health, even though scant evidence backed up this conclusion. It's really important we get results out there so we can understand whether it's helpful or not and for whom, Dr. Cass said. Her report found weak evidence for puberty blockers and noted some risks, including lag in between bone growth, fertility loss in some patients. It prompted the National Health Service to stop prescribing the drugs outside of a new clinical trial following similar pushback in other several European countries. Okay, so long story short, they're not publishing studies because it goes against their political agenda. To me, that woman should not be able to work on children anymore. She should have her license revoked. But unfortunately, I don't really see there being a ton of repercussions for her. Okay, so the next story is Mia Khalifa is going viral because she is talking about how military members deserve PTSD. Let me pull it up.
Good morning to everybody who is not in the U.S. military. Good morning to everybody who is sitting at home and not on soil that doesn't belong to them, fighting a war for a country that doesn't care about them. I hope you go over there and get your little brain all scrambled up with PTSD and then come back here and see how much the United States cares about you, Pookie. See how much they care about you when you come back with, oh, I'm so sad. I piss my pants every time I see a falafel stand in Manhattan. Let's see how much the VA cares about you. Let's see what they tell you to do with your little broken brain from going over to fight a war that's not yours. They're going to tell you to try breathing exercise.
How unbelievably privileged is this woman? I don't know. We do not understand violence the way that men understand violence. From a young age, men know if they say the wrong thing, they are going to get their ass beat. They understand that. For women, it is not the same. That is why we have videos of women mouthing off to men twice their size and acting shocked when they get hit. Women like this are so privileged. She got to make a ton of money off of corn. Right or wrong, getting to do that is incredibly easy. That is not a difficult job. Having sex is not hard. That's why it's pretty easy to do. And having sex on camera, again, not hard. So she got to make a ton of money, and now she is retired and gets to live off of social media. She is then going around shitting on the men that protect us in this country. This is insane. I don't know what world I'm in where we think the opinion of a corn star, we think a corn star thinks that her opinion on war is important. I'm sorry, we do not understand violence the way that men do. We never will. And it is absolutely disgraceful that she is shitting on the men that sign up to protect us. It's actually disgusting.
Because the U.S. government does not give a fuck about you once you cannot die for them. Once you're done, once you're a shell, they don't care about you. What did I say on Z-Way that one time? Yeah, I think that still stands as very accurate.
But the reason that you see my gender have a tendency to say things like this is because we have a tendency to have no repercussions. And where men, if they say something this disrespectful, another man will check them. But for us, it's just not the same. So speaking of OnlyFans models and privilege and us being able to use our sexuality for money. So Corinna Kampf, who is an OnlyFans model, she got famous off of being in David Dobrik's blogs. A couple of years ago, she launched an OnlyFans, and she recently has retired. She's 28 years old, and she is calling it quits on OF. As you guys know, sex workers have a tendency to age out in their late 20s to mid 30s. Some do have a resurgence in, mommy type content. It's kind of gross. I'm not going to get into it, but most of them do age out late 20s, early 30s. So this is on track. And she has earned $67 million in 3 years. To put that in perspective, less than 1% of men will ever make that much money. Men have sold big companies for less money than $67 million. And all she had to do was post 33 videos and 506 photos, and she is set for life. I want to know in the chat, for $67 million, would you post 33 videos of you banging a girl? I know it's mostly guys in the chat. Please let me know. One in the chat if you do it. One in the chat if you do it. Two if your morals would stop you. And we're going to keep seeing this. This trend is not going to stop. We are going to see some of the highest earning people on the planet be sex workers. And we are going to see sex workers have an increasing amount of power. This is not going anywhere. It's going to get worse. I don't say this happily. I don't. Everyone's putting one in the chat. Guys, you're supposed to say no. What are you doing? Chris says one. Ayodi says one. Old Bag says two. He says he wouldn't do it. Okay. Well, you know, we're gonna keep going on this. 33 days for that money. Mad, right? Okay. So our final story of the day is going to be this woman. I can't speak Spanish, but I had this translated. So basically, there's a woman who caught her boyfriend cheating on her. She was having a grand old time dating a guy, and they're doing great, right? She catches him. She figures out he has another girlfriend. She's not happy. Now, this woman was a ride or die type of woman, and she thought she had a ride or die type of guy. And when she found out that he had another girlfriend, she decided to think about all the things that she had done for him. And apparently one of those things was getting him into America as an undocumented worker. So she decided that she was going to bring him back to Mexico because he cheated on her. Fellas, if we can learn one thing, it's that women have no remorse and there is nothing like a woman scorned. So let me show you guys this video, and it's in Spanish, so I'm going to translate it. I'm going to play a little bit so you can just see the woman that did it, and then I'm going to translate it.
Regresé a mi exnovio a México sin que se diera cuenta. Bueno, para empezar, yo me di cuenta que me estaba engañando porque habíamos salido de vacaciones.
Okay, so again, I can't understand this, but I did have someone translate it, so I'm going to read the story time. Okay. Story time on how I sent my ex-boyfriend back to Mexico without him realizing. To begin, I found out that he was cheating on me. We had gone on vacation, and when we returned, I wanted to transfer some photos to my phone. You know how iPhone, when you swipe up, you can see several tabs? Well, here in the US, people use Snapchat a lot, and there was a message. I remember when I opened the message on Snap, and since the messages on Snap disappear, I noticed there was a lot of saved ones that hadn't been deleted. I even saw a photo. I knew then he was cheating on me. I remember seeing the name, checking his contacts, and sure enough, it was all there. It was blatantly obvious. When I realized it, I went to the bathroom to cry. I was crying, but at the same time, I was furious. I was so angry, I just kept thinking, this can't be me. This can't be me. This can't just stay like this. I need revenge. I wanted revenge so badly. I thought to myself, if I confront him and tell him what I saw, I'll just end up kicking him out, but then he'll go with her. I had helped him come here, so I felt like no matter what, he would end up winning. That's when I thought, I'm going to send him back to Mexico. But I knew if I outright told him to go back to Mexico, he wasn't stupid. He'd just leave my apartment and be done with it. So I thought, I'll make him go back to Mexico myself because he's never going to leave on his own. I remembered that San Antonio, where we lived, is 2 hours away, and so is Laredo. I knew the route to San Antonio well, but I also knew how to get to Laredo. So I came up with a plan. He was the type to say yes to everything. So I told him, let's go to San Antonio right now, so tomorrow we can go to Six Flags. It all aligned perfectly because he had the day off. I told him, let's head out tonight so we can make the most of tomorrow. And the day after, we'll come back. We even started reserving a So before we left, I told him, why don't you use the bathroom so we don't have to stop along the way? In front of my house, there's a Stripes, so I suggested we buy everything we need so we wouldn't have to stop on the road. He agreed, and I told him I would drive the whole way since it was a 2-hour trip. I told him to sleep, and I'd wake him up when we got to the hotel. I remember when we passed the first checkpoint, we were almost there. I kept thinking, is this right or wrong? But then I remembered the messages and it would make me so angry. I was fuming. I kept thinking, yeah, you're doing the right thing, cheering myself on, even though I had moments where I felt guilty. But then I remembered myself. I brought him here, so I'm sending him back. I had paid for everything, so I felt justified sending him back. At the first checkpoint, they didn't say anything to us, but at the second one, when we were about to cross to Mexico, they flagged us to the side. You know how sometimes they pull you over to customs to check your things? Well, they stopped us, and that's when he realized what was happening. He started asking, why are you doing this to me? What are you doing? I didn't say anything at first, but then I grabbed him and said, you want to be a jerk? Then you can start over from scratch. And that's how I sent him back to Mexico without him even knowing it. So, what are the lessons that I decided to take from this story? Number one, as women, we do not take L's well. We really don't. You know, guys will get cheated on. They'll get their kids taken. They'll get their house taken. And they have a tendency to just take the L and move on. They have a tendency to just say, you win, and move on with their life. Us, on the other hand, we have a tendency to not only just take an L, but get revenge and also destroy the man's reputation. The second lesson we have here is there is nothing like a woman scorned. We will go to extreme lengths. We will go to extreme lengths in order to make ourselves feel better about a situation. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. No, I'm going to say it. That's wrong. I mean, you committed a crime bringing him over here, but it does say a bit more about you if when things go poorly, that you go to that extreme of lengths to get back at him. But she's attractive enough. There'll be another sign up. I mean, she's probably getting her DMs flooded. I won't cheat on you. Anyway, so I want to hear from the men today. What is the most crazy thing a woman has done when she feels scorned? So we're going to put the link in the chat. And I would love to hear from you. What are your stories? If there's any ladies watching, have you ever been scorned? What did you do? What is the most crazy thing a scorned ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, ex-hookup has done? So we have the link in the chat. I'm gonna tweet it too. What is the craziest breakup story? No, what's the best way to phrase this question? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. What is the worst thing a scorned woman has done to you? And then let me grab the link from the chat. Oh, wait, it's in. And then I'm going to tweet this too. Call in link. We are live on YouTube. Okay. I remember I worked with a guy a couple of years ago. I think we made this into a TikTok years back. And I guess when him and his girlfriend broke up, she trashed his room. So she went over, oh my gosh, I'd have to find this video. I probably have it somewhere. But she literally like took all his clothes out. I think she destroyed his TV. Hell hath no fury. Truly. An ex burned my expensive comic book collection. Yeah. Someone said, "Did you deserve it?" I mean, what would he have to do to deserve his comic book collection? Even guys, even country music. I love country. But one of the best songs in the early 2000s was about Carrie Underwood getting cheated on and digging her keys into the side of his pretty little cooped up four-wheel drive. Carved her name into his leather seats. I took a Louis V slugger to both headlights, slashed a hole in all four tires. Maybe next time he'll think before he cheats. Why is this okay? Why is this? And nobody even batted an eye. Everyone said, yeah, that's totally fair. Do the women, I mean, women cheat more than men. Do you guys want to get your car keyed if you cheat? So call in, guys. Let me know your stories. What is the craziest thing that you have seen from a woman scorned? They said we'd get locked up. Yeah. Women have a tendency to get way lighter sentences than men. So when women get, let's look at the sentencing disparity, men versus women. Sentencing disparity, men versus women crimes. Men are most adversely affected by sentencing disparities, being twice as likely to be sentenced to prison after convictions than women, and receiving on average a 63% longer prison sentences for the same offense. Oh, looks like we have Reggie in the waiting room. Bring him in. Guys, make sure you have your cameras on and I can see your face. See, preferably sitting on a desk. If you have the phone like this, it's all right. But I need cameras on. Oh, we got another one. iPhone entered the waiting room. Hello. Can I see your face, please? Hello. Hi, please, I need to see your face for YouTube. Okay, you can just drop him because he's not showing his face. Yeah, guys, we gotta see your face. Again, the question is, what is the craziest thing a woman has done when scorned? I remember my brother, he dumped this woman. She was a nice young woman, but he just didn't really like her too much, I don't think. And she was in my comment section trying to talk trash about my brother. This was like years ago. And I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, what are you? Because I would talk about how great my brother is, right? And this random woman's like in my comment section. And I'm thinking, who? Move on. What do we? But that's the thing. We really can't take L's. It's just not. I don't think it's in our DNA. I really don't. Someone, Stephen Collins said, she told me to kill myself for the last 4 years. Wow. That is, let me see if there's any on the comments on the tweet I did. Guys, come on, tell me your stories. What is the craziest thing a woman scorned survived an assassination attempt? That can't, you're not serious, are you? Actually, let me pull up while we're waiting. Woman hires a hitman on husband. I remember this story a while ago. Oh yeah, look at this one.
The Boynton Beach Police Department, a small building in a quiet South Florida town. But what came out of here could hardly have been any bigger or louder. Terry Parker, investigative reporter for WPBF 25 News, covered the story.
So this guy, Muhammad, walks into the Boynton Beach police station and he says, I know a woman who's trying to hire a hitman to kill her husband.
She asked to find someone who can kill her husband for her.
The man, Mohammed Shahadi, was recorded as he talked to detectives about his one-time lover, Dalia Dippolito. He tells police he's speaking out to save the man's life.
Are you scared for the guy? Yes, because she's really, dead serious on getting this done.
It's quite a story, if true, because while he can describe Dalia,
she's maybe 5'6", 5'7", dark black hair. She's a good-looking girl. Really good-looking girl, actually.
He can't even tell cops her last name or her address.
Well, at the time, we didn't know what to believe. We were kind of, weren't sure what we had.
They had the
Nothing like a woman scorned. Look at this.
reservations. They had to say, let's see some proof.
To get proof, the cops make Mohammed a confidential informant. He arranges to meet Dalia at this gas station. Cops are staked out as their mystery woman arrives.
And she actually stepped out of the car. We were surprised because she didn't look like the type.
She didn't look like a killer, but Detective Alex Moreno says she's about to show her true colors. She gets into Mohammed's silver Lexus. While you can't quite see them on the hidden camera cops had installed, you can sure hear them talking about a hitman.
This guy's a professional. It's not bull.
Once she gets in the car and she meets up with the informant, we realized that this guy was credible.
His mom is not going to get suspicious of you or anything like
Why
that.
me? Like, do you know what telling somebody it? Nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me.
She's just
Oh my gosh.
talking about it like she's ordering lunch.
Randy Schultz is a columnist for the Sun Sentinel newspaper.
You think, this is just so cold, not really acting like the typical newlywed, shall we say.
Mohammed tells Dalia the hitman wants $1,200 to buy a gun. She comes prepared. She has a wad of cash in her bag and counts it out and hands it over. And shortly afterward, gives him a photo of Mike.
Wipe my prints off the pictures. Really? You're going to give him something with fingerprints all over?
And at that moment, the detectives realized, we've got her. This is real. She just handed him $1,200 in a picture of the husband that she wants murdered.
We were shocked how easily she talked about getting her husband killed.
2 days later, the talk turns to action in this CVS parking lot. She's not there to pick up a prescription.
So I came here, I pretty much parked in this exact spot right here.
This is Witty Jean, an undercover police officer.
She parked one to the third space from here.
Police say Dalia thinks she is meeting an actual hitman in his cherry red convertible.
We're staying in Paris.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
He makes his plan crystal clear.
I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it and what exactly is going to be done.
A burglary gone wrong that leaves Mike dead.
Everybody works in the daytime.
Right.
When I think he's at work, when he's not at work, then, he gets to it ahead.
For the undercover detective, he really wants to nail Dalia, make sure he's got it on tape and on camera that she is really going to pay him to kill her husband. And he says, are you sure, Dalia?
Between now and when it's done, you're not going to have an option to change your mind, even if you change your mind.
No, there's no, I'm determined already. I'm positive, 5,000% sure.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. That is insane. She's got no remorse.
The press would have a field day with this line. Listen again. She's 5,000% sure.
I'm positive, like 5,000% sure. Like, no, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
No, she wasn't just 100% sure. She was 5,000% sure that she wanted her husband killed.
I was a little shocked because I didn't think she was going to be that open.
Dalia never backs off.
No, I'm not going to, I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever. But I'm not.
You are. You're extremely beautiful.
Thank you, but, I just need to make sure everything's going to take care of.
The not-so-cute little girl agrees to a plan. She will leave the house early Wednesday morning.
I'll be in the house by 6:30 Wednesday morning. 6 o'clock.
Sure enough, she's at this gym around 6 a.m. Wednesday, leaving Mike Dippolito home alone, in bed, still recovering from liposuction from 2 weeks before.
At this point, the police have all the evidence they need. These are experienced officers. You know that you have enough. You have a case. Done. End of story. But not end of television show.
Television show? That's right. Turns out a reality show has come to Boynton Beach.
No way.
Yep.
And the timing couldn't be better. They'll be able to film the last part of the police investigation.
Detectives, they were going to stage this fake crime scene.
I hear a banging on the door.
Sorry, yes. Sergeant Sheridan, Boynton Police Department.
The TV show cameras are rolling when police wake up Mike. That's Officer Moreno at the door.
Your wife has hired a person to kill you.
Relax, just relax. Take it easy. Take a deep breath. Then sit down.
Oh, wow.
The guy was totally in shock that this was going on.
I was very surprised. I was like, because then it hit me like, this is a mess.
They drive him away and transform the street to make it appear they're really
Oh my gosh. They went that far?
Investigating Mike's murder. The TV show Cops, along with Boynton Beach police, have cameras rolling when a detective calls Dalia at the gym.
We're at your residence, ma'am. Can you come right back to your residence, please?
She's back in a flash. And now watch carefully. You be the judge of what happens next.
Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. Listen, try to calm down.
We know the cops are acting.
I can't let you see him, ma'am.
What about Dalia?
I need you to take her to the station.
Amidst all of that tremors and shaking of her body, there wasn't any real tears coming out of her eyes.
The crying, the screaming, the bending over. Meryl Streep, wherever you are tonight, don't worry, you're safe.
Wow.
They hustled Dalia
There is nothing like a woman scorned. This guy had no idea.
up to this interrogation room for questioning. Another recorded moment.
Are you sure that you don't know anybody who want to kill your husband? You wouldn't want to kill him, I hope. Not at all.
It's almost like something out of Law and Order.
There's no more games with you and I. Now we're going to get down to serious business. I want to know if you know this guy. Come here.
They bring in Officer Witty Jean, the supposed hitman from the car.
Get over here. You know who this guy is?
No.
You've never seen him before?
I've never seen him before.
She just stared at him. She said she didn't know him.
And then call it a resurrection.
No.
Oh my God.
He's alive.
Police have another surprise for Dalia Dippolito.
Here, please. Come here. Mike, come here.
She sees her husband, and he's alive.
The show Cops captures this moment as well.
Come here, please. Come here. Why not? I didn't do anything to you. Mike, come here, please.
Oh my gosh. Oh, she is dying on this lie. Oh.
What? You're alive? I love that moment, and I'm sure a jury will too.
You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest.
How much time did she
you hear what I
get?
just told you?
You kept saying, I didn't do anything.
Please, I didn't do anything.
Was that all you could think of to say?
They were accusing me of trying to have my husband killed, and I
Didn't do anything? What about the hitman? What about all those tapes? Dalia's never answered questions about her version.
How do you explain what we have all seen and heard on those videotapes?
For the first time, she will.
Oh my gosh. All right, hold on. I need to see how much time she got. Sentencing. 16 years? Wow. Don't you guys think, is that low? I have no idea, like attempted murder. All right, attempted murder. Average sentence. 6 to 30. You can get 6 years for attempted murder. Wow. Of not less than 20 years. Okay, well, this is pretty damning. That's not too bad, actually. Wow, there's nothing. If you guys have any other videos of women scorned, I can watch them. But keep calling in, guys. I want to get you guys' stories. Hello, sir. You're in England, right?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. This is a bit of a weird one, to be honest. Like, I was going out with a girl who I'd taken off a friend of mine. I was young, and she wanted to go out with her friends for her birthday, and I wanted to take her out. We had this tug of war for like about a month before her birthday. So like I was like, right, fine, you can go out eventually, and like we agreed, yeah, she was gonna go out, and then I came back having arranged to go to a party because she was going out with her friends with her present, and she says, "Oh, I thought we were going out." All of a sudden, so I'm like, "Well, hang on, I thought you were going out with your friends." So anyway, we had a bit of a fight about it. She ends up going to a party, not going out with her friends because her friends had cancelled on her. That was it. So I ended up going out to the party anyway. I came back, and we're in a shared house, I'm afraid. And she'd gotten back with her ex to. Looking back to teach me a lesson, I guess. And then 3 days later, because I hadn't taken the bait and I hadn't sort of like pursued her like she wanted me to and apologized sort of wholeheartedly, she then broke down after we'd been to the pub as a group of friends one night and said she wanted to get back with me. Which I said, no.
So she got back with her ex because you wanted to go out with your friends instead of hanging out with her?
Well, because she decided that, because her friends cancelled on her, which she didn't want to admit.
Oh.
You know, she wanted me to take her out that night. And I just hours earlier agreed to go to a party with some friends, you know. And like I was like, well, what do you want? And then like we'd agreed on this, and she tried to deny, said that we'd agreed. We'd come to the understanding eventually that I was going to take her out. It was hopeless, you know, and I just turned around and said, well, no, that's not happening. You know, yeah. And I think girls can be pretty brutal when they feel scorned, like, definitely.
Well, thank you for your story. Thanks for calling in.
All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, guys. So the question is, what is the worst thing a woman scorned has done to you? In the meantime, while I'm waiting to see if anyone else calls in, I'm going to look up cheating, ex-boyfriend, car keys. Maybe I bet there's something online. Oh my gosh. Woman seeks revenge on ex-boyfriend, but sets the wrong car on fire.
Police in Pinellas County, Florida say this woman was so mad at her ex-boyfriend, she decided to set his car on fire. But she got the wrong car. Cops released this surveillance video on Facebook hoping to identify the suspect, and they have. 19-year-old Carmen Chamblay was arrested and charged with second-degree arson for intentionally setting the Honda on fire. A security camera caught the act, which allegedly shows her tossing the trunk's contents into the flames. Cops say they found a rag in the gas tank that was set on fire. Her bond was set at $10,000. She reportedly told police she wanted to get back at her ex-boyfriend. Cops say the car's real owner told them he's never met Chamblay.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
For InsideEdition.com.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I think we're going to see such a sharp, I want to Google increase. All right, female crime. Ew, what the fuck? What the guys? Bryce, take the. Oh my god. Ew. Oh. Okay. Female crime statistics. Images. Yeah, I thought it would have gone up. In recent decades, women's participation in the labor market has increased most considerably in countries. Wait, no, not this. Gender crime statistics. It's interesting because the world is so gynocentric. So I think that women tend to commit more theft. 38% of crimes committed by women, 23% of crimes committed by men, and fraud, while men commit more robberies and violence against people. Oh, that's interesting. Do we have anyone else that called in? No? Okay. Let me see one more thing. Wrong car revenge. Wait, crazy ex-girlfriend blows up his car and herself. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh. 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 Oh my goodness. Let me find. Arrested for keying ex.
She keyed her boyfriend's car.
I think I care. I don't care anymore.
Got a restraining order.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes.
But she keeps coming back to him.
Your daughter and I had sex every day, like yesterday, like this morning, like all the time.
Oh my God.
You sexually assaulted her.
I did not sexually assault her.
You look my wife in the eyes and use your fingers to illustrate that you've had our daughter.
All new Dr. Phil.
Wow.
She keyed her.
She keyed his car. Look at this.
Let's get this straight from the start.
How did this many women not know the car their boyfriend drives?
You're Nidra Brantley, right?
I am.
Is your name Mike?
No, it's not.
And this is Nidra's Mitsubishi car. Have you ever gone out with somebody named Mike?
I have not.
This is what Nidra's car looked like today. Mike is a cheater, spray painted all over it. Do you know anybody named Mike?
I do not.
So you can imagine how Nidra felt Sunday morning when she came out and found her car violated, vandalized. Cheater, cheater, Mike is a cheater. When you came outside and you saw your car like this, tell me what went through your heart.
Oh my gosh, I screamed. I'm surprised nobody in the neighborhood heard me because I screamed so loud because I didn't expect that this would happen.
It's not just the words, it's the driver's side mirror. It's the passenger side mirror. So what did the cops say?
It's a case of mistaken identity.
And what do you say?
It's the same thing.
Side windows sprayed here and there.
You see, this is why we got to just take the L. I mean, getting cheated on, ladies, that's an L. But some of you aren't sleeping with your husbands anyway, so I don't know what you expected, but let's say you are and he cheats anyway. I mean, that's an L. But we got to learn to take the L's and move on with our lives instead of forever, doing all this crazy stuff. Because this is insane. This is literally insane.
There and there. It's the windshield. Boom.
Wow. Also, guys, if you guys have any crazy breakup stories, stuff that women have done, feel free to, click the Zoom link. It's in the description or it's in the chat.
What did the insurance company say?
They're taking care of it. I'm very happy. I have USAA.
Let's get this straight.
Wow. That's happened. Wait, so how I got revenge on my ex-boyfriend. The great thing about women is we just tell on ourselves. So we will literally say, let's see if this one's toxic or not. This is from...
Hello everyone, today we have a little bit of an evil video, but it's not really evil. How to get revenge on an ex, a situationship, or just anyone who hurt you. Before we continue, if you want more content from me, and you want to join our elite Academy, an exclusive network, go check out Triple S Society. We're currently taking on new members. Back in the day when my first boyfriend and I broke up, all I wanted to do was hurt him for every single thing he did to me. And I vividly remember my mum saying, Simone, the best revenge is actually doing nothing at all. The best revenge is forgetting about him and feeling entirely neutral. And
that's much better.
At the time, I didn't understand what she meant until months later when I felt that neutrality. And I realized
guys, the issue we're having with the Zoom right now is people keep calling in and spamming it. So we're going to just have to stop with the Zoom, unfortunately, until we figure out a way to filter the spam. So I'm just going to react to this.
Power that neutrality has. We'll talk about some other revenge tactics later. But let's go into neutrality a little bit. When you are totally over what someone did to you, you're so neutral, that is going to cause them the most pain, because sometimes people are evil enough that they want to damage us. They want to see their actions affect us for a long amount of time because it also makes them feel important. They want to live rent-free in your brain. If you reach a point where you're neutral, where you did nothing at all, that is going to keep them up at night. They're like, wow, am I not important enough that they're not thinking about me anymore? How did they get over me? Why don't they hate me anymore? People would rather you hate them than to feel nothing about them. Because if you feel nothing about someone, you've actually discarded them. They're nothing, like you just threw them in the trash, bye-bye. Like they're meaningless, like they're nothing, because they are nothing. Do not get revenge by burning their clothes, by sleeping with their father or their brother or their friend, or smashing their car. Don't do any of that. It will actually just come back to haunt you. The best revenge is getting to that neutral state.
Wow, is this a woman giving good advice? I didn't think that it existed.
As well as glowing up your entire life. That is the best revenge.
All right. All right. Well, guys, unfortunately, We can't really do the Zoom. We got to figure out a solution to it. So, like the video on your way out and subscribe. Today I'm not going to do a post show because I kind of want to figure out the Zoom stuff. So we'll do that tomorrow. If you guys want me to read your chats, go to the Audacity network. We're working on the Wi-Fi, so I know it's been dropping lately. The challenge is where we're at in the country. They just don't have as fast of Wi-Fi, so we just got to figure out a way around it. But like the video on your way out, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. Bye-bye.